Hello and welcome to the Seafoam Isles Draft League team review, or first impressions, however you want to look at it. This is for Season 3, and I'm joined by 4 other players from the league. Reich, Alolan Floatzel, Phero, and Danny Wheelie. If you guys want to go ahead and say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to go through the teams, give say what it's about, or what we think it's about at least. What do we think they did right, maybe a little bit they could fix. And that's about it. So
Yeah,
excited to work on it. 3, 2, 1. Next. Okay, so the first team that we have here is Layor's team, and for Unga Bunga. And what I'm gonna just note is hail, lots of ice types, lots of water types too, and that's what I'm gonna lead off with. Go.
It's hail and also.
I want to start off with saying, very proud of Layor for embracing the Christmas just before the holiday season. This team has got the snow going all day. Vale, it's got screens into Manaphy, into Arctozolt.
Yeah,
he's rocking that really heat Mega Abomasnow. This team is, I think, one of the more unorthodox teams in this division so far. Really strong theme going for it, and one of our 4 weather teams heading into this season. Anyone likes to point out anything? What do we like about this team? I've already said teams into Manaphy, into Arctozolt.
Abomasnow Mega is like high key underrated. It's just a menace. Saw someone 6-0 someone with just a Abomasnow. Kind of crazy.
Well, I like a lot of the setup threats on this team, and a lot of the immediate threats. Like, this is one of the teams that has a good handful of things that can just threaten to kill right out the gate, or threaten to sweep. Like, Reuniclus and Arctozolt are pretty scary, for example. Oopsie can set Trick Room for them if Hail's not up, or for Mega Abomasnow. So there are some funky things this team can do. Maybe not like the most prominent strategy, because obviously it's Hail. But Hail's not bad now that Arctozolt's really a pretty viable Pokemon.
It also has like elements of Trick Room, because Abomasnow Mega can be terrifying with Trick Room, and then Reuniclus, Flash Jare
as well.
Yeah, and Oopsie Sacramento. So I think that's his own Flash Jare. Get Trick Room.
No, it does not.
He does have 2 Trick Room setters, because I'm pretty sure Klefki gets it, right?
Yeah, probably.
Does it?
He has 2 setters in Oopsie and Reuniclus at least.
Oopsie.
Reuniclus, yeah. But yeah, his team is very taunt bait, because like Reuniclus wants to set up, Klefki definitely wants to do stuff, Ninetales. Although there's not many fast taunters faster than Ninetales. Manaphy wants to Tail Glow. Abomasnow wants to Swords Dance.
There's a lot, because like if Trick Room goes up, you're not outslowing Abomasnow very reliably unless you're like Iron Ball, which is a really risky thing since you're playing with fire in that situation, because it's Trick Room or Hail. So that's pretty risky if you go for an Iron Ball set. The Trick Room
has the same base speed as Abomasnow as well. So.
Yeah. So this is
Abomasnow that slow.
Yeah, they're both base 30.
And
Reuniclus is base 30 as well.
Yeah. Maybe something that I feel like most of us have picked up on is the type overlap.
Yeah, for sure. Does he rocking? He's rocking one 2,
6
3,
ice types.
4, 5, 6 ice types. And then I'm guessing
2 psychics, 3
one-
waters.
1, 2,
Yeah.
2 of them
3 waters.
can. Well, 2 of them or 5 of them can run boots, but only like 2 of them will. Because last year you want like Bandit or Life Orb or something. Ninetales, you want what's it called? Screens thing.
Like
Yeah, Arctazol. I don't know.
Life Orb.
I don't know Arctazol.
Arctazol, once Life Orb. So like, I'm pretty sure I counted this. There's like 8 or 9 total types on this team. So like, defensively, it's pretty overlapping. And
It's actually only 7.
there's only one
7
defogger for the ice
It also
type.
has big issues with like steals,
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
with having no fire, and not really that much fire coverage in general. Electivire gets fire coverage. Reuniclus gets flamethrower, I think.
No, it got Focus
It
Blast
doesn't.
though.
Focus Blast, yeah.
Yeah.
This team is just like Scizor beats it. Just offer it.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
are some problems, but nothing you can't fix with like one transaction, 1 or 2, maybe a little.
My
Like,
advice
because you had that luxury with the the 6 ice types.
Yeah, my advice would be like dropping
Lapras.
Lapras or Walrein, because like those literally are like the same thing, and I think Walrein's better at being a Stallmon. So
Walrein is better at being defensive than Lapras because Walrein actually resists fire.
yeah, and pick up something like a Magmortar if that's
Yeah, Magmortar would be great for this.
yeah, and it also is teleport to get like Arctazol or what's it called, Ninetales then.
Yeah, and then like last thing, maybe get something to defogger spin for like, so you're not pressuring all your support onto Klefki.
I mean, Klefki already wants all the support, but it's definitely gonna have 4 moves and probably gonna run 4 support moves most weeks.
Well, the other
So-
thing is just once Klefki is gone, then there's not really a lot you can do.
Yeah, you get free
Or
health.
if Klefki, or like if Klefki is an awkward fit, like on a team that also has hazards, then you're kind of out of luck there, you know?
Like, I know I'm not like a stealth rock setter, but I always make sure to drop from the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, lastly, maybe for like the speed tiers on this team are actually pretty decent, like 115, 109, and then I think 195,
100 with Manaphy.
80. So they're not. The speed tiers are actually pretty alright.
And then the speed tiers also just get better with health. With like Arctazol and he has another sweeper, right?
And then he's got the slow mode. So there's the speed tiers are great. The Trick Room is great. The Hail is
He
great.
drafted Trick Room really well by having faster mons, because you don't want to go mono slow.
Mhm.
I also like kind of like Floatzel on this team. I promise I'm not being biased here, because while Floatzel is fast, it also has priority, which is something that can be very useful if you're trying to run Trick Room at the same time.
Yeah. It's a
This
good.
Auburn Alabama game is crazy.
So
I mean, I'm sure there are probably like better or other priority mons that you'd want to
Exactly.
have here, but you know, for the budget pick, like that's not a bad choice.
So we ready to move on?
Oh, I have one more thing to say. I like the juxtaposition of the team logo, which is like in the jungle with the Hail team.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of funny,
Yeah, that's fun.
but that doesn't help him out competitively.
He drafted 1 monkey in Electivire, so a little disappointing.
Electivire
He should
a
maybe get some
monkey?
more.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. I had this discussion with Noel. It is based on a gorilla. It's indeed
Also,
monkey.
I feel like he could have used Electivire Sea Crystal and like Arctazol. I feel like Arctazol would be a lot more threatening with the Z Crystal.
I think the Zmons are like this season, like, whenever you look at the teams, you don't really look for the Z Pokemon that much. And, like, Arctozolt really likes its Life Orb anyways, especially with, like, Bolt Beak every turn.
Yeah, Bolt Beam.
Yeah. So, I think we should be ready to move on then. And, our next coach is Phero. Oh. I'll
Do you
start
want
off
me to lead
again.
this?
Or you
You go. You go.
I got it.
Start off.
Alright. So, this team is very interesting. I really like a lot of the Mons together.
Please.
Rillaboom, Xurkitree. Rillaboom's grassy terrain is pretty effectively utilized here with the likes of Slowbro Galar and Xurkitree in mind, as well as Bastionon. So those three really appreciate Earthquake being weakened and ground types in general in that regard, because this team, those are pretty pivotal Mons, especially like Bastionon's not typically considered very scary, but Phero uses Bastionon pretty effectively, as seen by last season. So, in that case, Bastionon does appreciate it, and those three threats do love having Rillaboom's terrain. Regidrago gives some really good, rounds out some really dangerous offensive cores with MB, Mega Beedrill.
And setups, sweeping.
Yeah. So.
Okay, here. The first thing I have to say about this team, I would hate to be a special mod going against it. Blissey and Slowbro Galar, that's like your. No special mon is like breaking that, except if it's +6 with like specs.
Oh yeah, I'm completely ditching the special if I'm going against any team with a Blissey.
Yeah.
Now, guys, just run Wonder Room. Just Wonder Room. That's all you need.
Or just run
General.
physical mons.
Yeah.
At least he doesn't have table flip.
Yeah. If Avalugg was on this team, holy crap.
The thing that I kind of noticed immediately was just honestly the bulk. You have Blissey, you have Slowbro. There's also Corsola.
And Policy.
Bastiodon is there, and then if you want, Regidrago, Centiskorch, Arctivish, all of those can run.
Another thing I noticed is that Arctivish can be used Hail. Which, we just got one over Hail, so Hail, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, and the terrain passive recovery is good for Blissey as well, considering how high its HP is.
So wait, does Seafoam play in custom game?
No.
No. So I was about to say, bring Wish Teleport Blissey every week.
Oh man, don't even want to imagine that.
I'm trying to point out as well. Any Xurkitree is actually a threat.
It's
with
big
Hypnosis
threat.
C terrain.
Even if it misses, Hypnosis, it's still a +1 speed, and hidden powers allowed, so it just doesn't get mono walled by grounds. It's terrifying.
And if you can get a Tail Glow off, it's like GG. You've got the +1 speed, Tail Glow up. That's it, folks. You're about to get swept.
Yeah. And then it also.
I do want to.
Here, you go first.
I was going to point out the speed tiers on this team are a little bit interesting. You got
I was
Mega
going to
B
say
at
something semi-relevant to that.
145. Think it drops to, correct me if I'm wrong, 80? 85? Hold on,
85,
I'm pulling this up.
The team also.
Yeah, it's 145 to 85.
Cool.
The team
it's a
also.
60-point jump.
Yeah, the team also just it forces a lot of Scarfers and can't really deal with those Scarfers too well. Physical Scarfers, you want to affect. A physical, it's also just pretty weak to Edge Quake. Well, high horsepower Quake, I guess.
This team
Your way
does
down.
also want more hazard removal, considering it's going to be relying on like Beedrill a lot.
From Beedrill.
Yeah, Beedrill.
It's only hazard removal is Beedrill.
And Polisland. Polisland's good Rapid Spin, I think.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
What? Did I just... Have I been blind?
Rocks, but no removal outside of Beedrill.
Yeah.
Support Beedrill is the only way to play Beedrill.
Unfortunately, you can't run heavy duty boots Beedrill Mega, so.
So sad.
Another thing too, this team can be a little bit knockoff span will be good against this team. Moving boots, taking items off Blissey, off Palisand, off
Yeah, Blissey would really hate for its heavy duty boots to be removed.
Yeah, I kind of wrote in my notes that this team could really use like a dark type or a fairy type, especially to counter the knockoff spam. But also on that note, I do think that Palisand fits a little awkwardly here, considering Corsola does a lot of what it does.
Mm-hmm. Also, speaking of the knockoff spam, that's just gonna be really like if you have a stab dark type Scarf knockoffer, that's like Rillaboom doesn't like that, Blissey doesn't like that, Slowbro doesn't like that, Centiskorch kind of. Actually, no, Centiskorch hates that because it's running heavy duty boots 90% of the time.
So Phalanx does okay against knock, especially Scarfers. So, I'm not going to say that this team is like completely useless against knockoff, especially because Phalanx can just come in on
especially if Phalanx is running a Z Crystal.
Yeah, no retreat on Phalanx can really be bad, because if you scarf in and knock, Phalanx comes in, clicks no retreat, and now you're against an Omni boosted Phalanx, and you're scarfed in to knock off. So.
Very true.
And
overall, bulky team though. I will not look forward to breaking some of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff here.
The Galar slows are like always the most annoying to deal with, in my opinion. Like, even disregarding the Blissey, like that's gonna be a lot to prep for. Like one of those things that you need to have like 2 or 3 dedicated checks on your build.
This team is also this team would be like, I'd say like get a better, not better steel, but a steel that isn't 4 times a week to Earthquake to absorb Toxics, which is definitely coming against like a Blissey team.
Maybe the Palisand pick could get a different steel or a different dark or fairy.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a dark fairy or steel are like what this team really needs.
But by no means is it bad. In fact, I think it's a pretty good draft, save for like just the removal being Mega Beedrill and the speed tiers being a little bit whack.
Yeah, it definitely allows people to just run max bulk on some Pokemon.
So, we'll move on to the next one. Good luck, Phero, and also, I like your team.
And, oh my god, Steelopex.
Alright.
I'm leaving this call.
Okay, see ya.
Steelopex is scary, but they're both weak to electric.
Yeah.
And this team
let's see who has electrics that beat. Ampharos Mega. That one beats. Rotom. Right, you're screwed, bro. Need to lie.
Rotom.
Dude, Rotom's good.
Tapu Koko, Zera, Manectric. You know, there's a lot out there.
Jooj's electric is Charge-a-Bug. That's not breaking that.
I think we've actually skipped over saying whose team this is as well. So this is your Garbodors.
Back on task.
Yeah.
So, we're on Benji's draft, guys, in case you couldn't tell.
Focus is on Benji.
Yes, focus is on Benji. The Steelopex draft. Yes, I really think this draft is going to be strong. It's got a lot of defensive Pokemon, lots of offensive Pokemon with webs, like for Alligator Typhlosion, making Gallade, and then like the double ice types really love. the webs that Galvantula sets. So you've got that defensive core. You combine that with the offensive Pokemons that kind of just power through everything with webs, and it kind of opens up Typhlosion more, and as well as for Alligator to really use offensive items opposed to Choice Scarf. And it really makes Gallade scary, because at that point Gallade kind of just turns you to dust after webs go up. So that's what I think. I really think it's a fun looking team, with lots of offensive pressure, and then just a fun defensive core, and with Torterra, Pex, Steela.
Well, I have to give a shout out to the heat picks they picked at the end with the Bronzor and the Hakamo. Hakamo I think's pretty cool. It's got some setup options. It can run a little bit of defensive utility. I'm pretty sure it gets Roxed, still gets Dragon Dance. Has a bit of that coverage. I really like the Feraligatr pick. Tier 3, I think that's pretty good value for a fairly scary sweeper wall breaker set in Feraligatr. As to suggest improvements, this team has no removal at all.
Really?
While having a couple mons weak to rocks, Typhlosion, the 2 ice types.
Yeah, the 2 ice
of
types
those-
kind of got me with the no removal.
Those 2 ice types also don't really run heavy duty boots.
Well, Kyurem can.
Kyurem
pressure
can, but it usually doesn't.
Kyurem usually wants to run a choice item.
Yeah.
Or
I
Dragon
was
Dance
going
would
to
be
say,
really cool.
Dark type to trap Psychics for Gallade would actually be also pretty nice on this team, like a Pursuit Trapper. Mostly because your main way of probably breaking those bulky Psychics, probably bashing them with G-Darm, or maybe being in front of them with Stealer. Mostly because Dusclops are so bulky, you can sit in front of those Psychics. Typically run stuff like Nightshade, or get the Psychic with Recover, get the Psychic and off and actually set up.
It also gets Pursuit, right?
I mean, even if
Oh
it
right,
goes-
we're playing
it.
with Pursuit.
Yeah. Which one did you say might run Pursuit?
He said Dusclops, but I mean, I don't think it has that, and even if it did, it wouldn't do all too much damage, considering Dusclops' attack is only like 80 or something, 70, 80, which is fairly low and non-stab. And then if they decide not to switch, you're doing like no damage.
So one thing I noticed about this team is that it's only users of momentum or pivoting moves are Darmanitan and Galvantula, and I think if you have like a lot of the Pokemon that are more like on the frail side, like Gallade, Feraligatr, Galvantula, Typhlosion, Darmanitan too, like having those options to kind of get them in safely is, you know, it's important, and I think this team could use a couple more of those options.
Yeah, for sure.
I think what this team has is a lot of offense, and with a solid defensive core. It's just like, yeah, like we said, there's just the lack of
Raichus died.
Yeah, there's just the lack of removal in totality, which is pretty problematic when you have Darm trying to spam your turn, Galvantula trying to Volt Switch, pretty much a lot of things. But other than that, it's a really scary team offensively, really. And there's a lot of tools it has, especially with the Steel Apex core, alongside the offense that we've already mentioned multiple times.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff to this team. Lots of tools it has. Week 3, just definitely pick up removal for something like maybe even Galardorm so you don't overlap with your Kyurem pick, because they have the same speed tier. They're both ice types, and Kyurem just has a better defensive typing, and I'm pretty sure you like it more. And it's also like the only reliable electric resist on the team for the Steel Apex pick, because HP Ice just rolls Torterra.
Yeah.
So we will move on to the next one. And the next one that we have is Eons. Floatzel, you want to go first? I'm pretty sure you had a lot to say about this team.
Oh, did I? Hold on. Let me actually pull this up. One second.
I'll lead it off. Just let me know when you're ready, okay? So
actually, yeah, no, you can lead it off.
Right. So this team is very interesting. This is one that I was more at a loss of words to describe the first time, because there's a lot of bulk, a lot of defog, which is like unlike the teams we've seen before, where it's just like lots of bulk, maybe less removal.
This is where all the
there's lots of pivot. There's just a lot of things that check all of the boxes on the right. And yeah, there's just a lot of fat here, like Golbat, Clefable, notably, Umbreon, and then like Empoleon. It's very, very fat team.
Yeah, Pidgeot also really likes the webs.
Yeah, they only, yeah.
Empoleon, I guess.
Well, yeah, Emboar, Pissimian, Mega Pidgeot. I guess Empoleon if he wants to be offensive. Maybe even Caparage. I'm pretty sure Caparage is like base 60 or something. I didn't use it that much.
It's base 25.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, the thing that kind of stuck out to me about this team immediately was the amount of, and I know we just talked about this in the last team.
That's base 30.
It has a lot of options for pivoting. Like there's a lot of mons here that like to use U-turn. Umbreon can run Baton Pass. Clefable gets Teleport. Regieleki is there. So there's kind of a lot of ways to keep momentum and get things like in and out the way you want them to. Now the only thing is that for all of the pivoting that it has, you would expect for there to be a few more dedicated like offensive options. The only one here is really
Drampa.
Regieleki.
And like Drampa, but Drampa can run.
Drampa can run the Lair
boost. Drampa runs like bulkier sets sometimes, like Defog and Glare. But I think if this team got like something, and also like the speed tiers are kind of wonky because it goes from 121 to 90. So if you got like something in like the 100, 110 range that was like something that was hard hitting and was a dedicated like breaker that could take advantage of all the momentum that you have, like I think this team has the potential to become really scary.
Yeah.
One issue that I have with it is it just like Taunt really just like throws a wrench in this team.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, with Umbreon, Clefable, Brunerigus, Orbeetle, even Golbat, Empoleon, there's a lot that's kind of affected by Taunt. Another thing that I noticed when I was going over the teams with Raichus before was the fact that it's really a pretty ground-weak team. And the ground are Golbat and Empoleon. Empoleon is weak to ground, and Golbat is weak to Stone Edge. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not too Edgequake. It's weak to Edgequake. That's what I say.
Yeah, and the dedicated offensive Pokemon that we noted earlier were like Mega Pidgeot, Regieleki, and Emboar. None of them. Well, I mean, I guess Mega Pidgeot's fine against ground, switching into Earthquake.
I would just say Mega Pidgeot, Regieleki, to be honest.
Emboar is coming into click an attacking move to kill something. That's dedicated offense. So those Pokemon, when they come in, they don't appreciate the grounds really being alive. Maybe less so Pidgeot than the other two, but the Pokemon that kill the grounds are also kind of weak against grounds. So maybe something that can handle those ground types a little better, because there's a lack of aggressed in like overall on this team. Maybe take something like take a lower tier for Caparaja that can really
I feel like Bulu.
pummel.
Like Bulu would really help this team out.
So,
but Bulu, you're probably not dropping your higher tier mods from Bulu.
well, yeah, this Caparaja is not expensive enough to really get replaced by a Bulu. So,
Yeah, I guess.
there's a lot of bulk on this team. I can't say I like it because I don't want to fight it because it's so bulky and it's going to be annoying to fight. But
I just
it's
don't
a
like
good
it because
team.
it's too stolid.
It's got a lot of fat, and then there's a few.
I don't like it. I don't like it because it has Clefable on it, and that thing is the bane of my existence.
Ew, yuck. Clefable. So, yeah, there's a lot here. Maybe just pick up like an offensive ground or offensive grass instead of Caparaja. Other than that, it's a pretty solid team, I would say. So, good luck, Eons. Great team. And next, we have King Belgarion.
King Cringarian.
You know, guys, I think we should rip this team apart. It would be fun.
Oh yeah, there's no positives to this team. Worst team I've ever seen in my life. Jesus, King, can you learn to
What are
draft?
you doing, King? Oh my god.
Like, who
God.
actually who would ever use Yoshifu? Come on, man.
Oh my. Oh my.
That's a cop out, man.
Oh. Okay, but in all honesty, when you look at this team, I think you've noticed that there is a Urshifu single strike, a Tapu Koko, and a Skarmory. And those are all
three things alone
really
are like
good.
dead. Like there's no way.
Yeah, that's
There's also great bulk and synergy in general with Skarmy, Porygon, Loki,
Well-
Quillfish, and Hypno.
well, we'll get into the synergy a little bit later, because there is something to look at there. But individually, the Pokemon on this team are just genuinely pretty terrifying. Obviously, you have your breakout Pokemon with Urshifu and Tapu Koko. You have your Flygon, which is a decent speed tier pickup, all things considered.
Also brings
Maybe because
utility and Stealth Rocks U-turn and default.
yeah, there's a solid amount of all of that. As you can see in the top right, there's a solid amount of rockers, a solid amount of defoggers. It's pretty competent in general in the utility department. There's no lack of either defensive nor defensive Pokemon. It generally has everything it needs. That said, this team is not perfect. So
Big thing on this team is Urshifu hates fairy types. But I wouldn't say there's any dedicated fairy breaker on this team.
Yeah, and this team just
nor
really
is
struggles
there-
to fairies in general.
Yeah, nor is there really reliable fairy switching. Skarmory switching is really against to physical ones, but against especially offensive fairies, it can struggle a little bit. Your other two checks are potentially Quillfish and Colossal. which again have a little bit of bulk there, but can struggle with the right coverage.
They also just don't deal enough damage to break the usually bulky fairies.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, it's kind of sticking out like a sore thumb to me.
Yeah, another
Team
thing
well.
with this team is that it's insanely top heavy. Like, I guarantee you that your Shifu's coming, Skarmory's coming, Flygon's coming, Porygon's coming, Tapu Koko's coming, and then something else. Like,
I feel like
most weeks.
maybe Porygon's more situational, especially with Hypno having the Zenny, being able to run the Z Hypnosis kind of like Circuitry. It might not be quite as potent as Circuitry, but
I mean, I find
Nothing is really as potent.
tends to be fairly versatile in that if you need something to just like be defensive and you don't really have like a dedicated thing for it, like Porygon 2 is a fairly decent catch-all I've found in my experience.
Yeah, Porygon's really good.
Porygon's a good pickup. The another thing to point out is there's not really a great answer to ground types outside of Go-Goat and then like Skarmory. I mean, there are ground switch-ins, but they don't hit back really hard, except for Go-Goat, yeah. Which is kind of problematic for Tapu Koko. So there just needs to be a little cohesion, maybe melting the two halves together, like breaking fairies, breaking grounds. But other than that, this team is really pretty scary because it has everything it needs otherwise.
Yeah.
Cole and I have talked about it, and we're telling you, King, if you picked up Nidoking on this team,
why did you say that?
It would be GG. No, I have to say it. He has to say it. You have to pick up Nidoking.
He's about to edit it out.
Yeah. King is not allowed to have Nidoking. Otherwise, he will just instantly win.
But King, like, it's in the name.
Oh my god.
Yeah, how are you gonna bar King from having to do King?
Oh my god. We have... Okay. King needs to go 7-3. We need to sweep him out the first 3 weeks. Come on, guys.
Okay.
Anyways, bad luck, King. Don't have fun.
King, your team is terrible.
Yeah.
Worst team I've ever seen in my life. Please draft better. Now we move on to rolling.
Yeah. So, I guess okay, fine. Good luck, King. Have fun. Well, have fun. Not don't have fun.
I hate to admit it. I hate to admit it, but your team is actually kind of good.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next one now. And that team is Roland's, who never really fails to surprise with the teams that he drafts.
Did you draft triple sidekick?
Triple fairy.
Two
psychics minimum.
Oh my god.
This team is good. Not that your team.
Ignore the dog in the back. One sec.
All right. So, not that your teams are never good, but this one is quite good. Is very good. I'd say out of the drafts I've seen, this is my favorite one that you've drafted. So Tapu Fini, very good catch-all Pokemon, especially like. Well, this team isn't very defensive, and it doesn't really mind getting toxic, but it's very anti-status with the Magic Bout Hatterene, the Misty Terrain, the Grounded Poison. It's a punch Mesprit fairly well. And I guess also should inject since it can't get toxic or burned, so that's also quite interesting.
It can be. Ginger can be toxic.
Oh. Wait.
On the Citron.
It just can't be hit by non-super effective moves.
Oh, well, I meant with Misty Terrain.
Oh, with Misty Terrain, yeah.
Yeah, so that's got some strange synergy to it, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Then you have Bisharp for the priority, which is never bad to have, especially What the heck? Okay. So this is like one of the first teams to have a really, really strong dark on it, which, like, other than King so far, I think Bisharp has been the highest tier dark type drafted. And it's a pretty cohesive team. Psychics and Fairies are never bad types to stack in reality. It's got a really good Trick Room mode with Hatterene and Alola-Whack. Bisharp's obviously good in either mode. Fish, also pretty good in either mode. Graplocked, also good in either mode.
There's a lot of priority here, actually, I'm noticing.
Yeah, lots of priority.
There's Whimsicott, there's Shedinja, there's Bisharp, there's Basculin.
Yeah, Fish. Mr. Fish.
Does Whack get Shadow Sneak?
Technically, there's Staraptor if you want to be cheeky.
Quick attack.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of Trick Room on this team. There is actual speed as well with Manectric, though, again, kind of a weird speed tier.
Whimsicott is like fast, but it is also weird
wins.
because most of the time it's relying on Prankster.
Yeah. So like,
Although like
Mega Manectric
if it's a
130.
choice, if it's like a spec set, like that's when it kind of matters a little more.
Yeah. So what is it? 130, 116, and then 90, 195.
100, 100 Staraptor.
It's just like most of the breakout attackers are generally physical, like Staraptor, Alola-Whack, and Bisharp. The other three are either walled by a type pretty hard or are reliant on at least a little bit of setup. Like Hatterene needs to set Trick Room. Main struggles with grounds so long as they're not cripplingly Spidef weak. So, and then like Tapu Fini has like 95 special attack, which it feels a lot higher than it actually is because it's just so good.
And it's also in terrain.
Yeah. Well, terrain doesn't boost it because Misty Terrain just weakens Dragon.
Oh wow. Okay. You learn something new every day.
But yeah, it's a generally cohesive team because ground types don't generally appreciate Staraptor or Fini, which helps out a lot with Mega Manectric's primary weakness. Even Whimsicott can help with that, and Shedinja, though Edgequake kind of hits half those pretty bad. Though Fini is actually probably a pretty decent Edgequake answer despite being neutral to both. That's Brit too. So I'd say it's a fairly cohesive team. Outside of like maybe poison types, this team is really, really, really solid and cohesive. Just there's the breakout pieces, there's the defog, there's the rocks. It really has mostly everything that it wants.
I think it could do with something to hit electric types.
Who are you talking about? Still rolling or still rolling?
Rolling.
Because the main thing, like you have Fini and Staraptor here, which obviously are weak to electric, and you do have like the grass type switch-ins, but there isn't, like this team is kind of missing a ground type, like you said, for the poisons as well, I think.
Yeah.
To kind of hit both the poison types and the electric types, and to kind of also just be a primary switch-in for both of those things as well.
Yeah. So there is like there are a few small problems, but this team is totally workable in most facets, in like almost all facets, since
It's not that
offensive
Trick Room heavy.
poisons.
I'm surprised about.
What?
It's not too Trick Room heavy.
Yeah, that is interesting. But there is a Alola-Whack, so you have to prep for Trick Room every week.
Yeah, and higher me.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that kind of functions well together here. The Trick Room and just general like function. Like I was saying, offensive poisons are actually like surprisingly uncommon, save for like Scolipede, which didn't even get drafted. Neither did Salazzle, so
Salazzle's both offensive and defensive.
Yeah. So it's like generally a pretty decent squad since it's really only weak to defensive electrics, which again are pretty few and far between unless it's intentionally made defensive or is a Rotom form. So good draft by Roland, and really excited to see this team in action.
Better than King's team. King's team is bad though.
All right.
Anything is...
Moving on to Quest team, the Furbait team.
Pyroar.
I just heard Furbait team. What?
It's because it has both Zeraora and Incineroar.
Yeah, first two picks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, looking at this team, there is a lot of good offense that I see. Mainly Zeraora, Incineroar, and Gyarados. Gyarados is really, really good on this team. One of the spearheads of the AB split, and I'm glad that it actually got drafted.
Gyarados is terrifying if used correctly.
Yeah.
And his team, I really like his team because it's like really hazard heavy, and Gyarados loves that. Well, it's not really hazard heavy, but it's like webs heavy, so you're bringing a lot of defogger counting it, and then just Gyarados switches in, Scarf, murders everything until it dies.
Yeah. Gyarados is terrifying on this team. I think it's probably the best pick on the entire squad, personally. Because it just shreds. If it can get the Defiant boost, or if it can really pull off a bulk up against certain teams, it's just so good.
Even if it doesn't get... Oh, you go first.
Yeah, Zeraora is also very, very good with the pivoting. There's a lot of pivots on this team. Yeah, I count 4 out of the top tiers. All 4 of them have pivoting. Zeraora, Gyarados, Incin, Noivern, Comfey, all of those have pivoting capability. And so it's really, really good momentum for Gyarados to really come in and shred teams apart.
Wait, is it pronounced Comfey?
Comfey. It doesn't.
No, I thought it was comfy. Like, I haven't thought it was anything else but comfy.
I personally just really like the combo of Zera and Araquanid. That's the thing that I like the most.
Yeah, it's super scary.
And do not underestimate Araquanid. That thing.
Oh no, that thing is a monster.
That thing is terrifying.
Especially
as someone who has used the combo of Zera and Araquanid before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Zera basically outspeeding anything with webs down.
Yeah.
I wanted to maybe point out those small improvements for this team could actually be some more rock setters, and because your most reliable rock setter is Mega Steelix. Outside that, you've got Claydol. Another one in there would be really beneficial for this team. And same with the defog. Your 2 defoggers are Noivern, Comfey, and then rapid spin wise you've got Claydol and Mr. Rhyme. Noivern and Comfey don't really want to run defog every week, so sometimes that can force you into choosing Claydol or Mr. Rhyme to spin.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I just want to point out is speed tier wise, the first 3 top picks are pretty good. You got 142, I think it's 126, 27, and then goes to 100. And then I think it drops to 75 at Claydol, so there's a little bit of a gap there. But otherwise, there's a pretty strong offensive core. We've got some good bulk in this team. Some of the setup mons on this team are really scary. Like if you don't prep for Snorlax, if you don't prep for Comfey, if you don't prep for bulk up Zeraora, they can give you a lot of trouble.
This is what people were giving me a bit of like smack for saying Zera is tier 1. Watch it drop like 18 kills. It is tier 1 worthy. Tier 1
Zera,
A.
yeah.
Tier 1
Zeraora
A worthy.
A worthy. I agree. I say it belongs in 1A.
Yeah, this is a really strong draft. And I'm excited to see how it goes, because I want to see Gyarados get killed leader, not gonna lie. So, good luck, Quest. Have fun.
Yep. How many of these are we doing, by the way?
Now, we'll move on to Jooj. Bright, go ahead, since you said this was your favorite team.
This is my favorite team, hands down. It's got the best mons on it. So Roraima, Raichus by Jooj. You've got a Dragapult. Got a Mega Scizor. They're pivoting into Breloom. They're pivoting into Volt. They're pivoting into Mamoswine. They're pivoting into
Charjabug.
Galarian Moltres. They're pivoting. Yep, Charjabug, Rhyperior, Alchemy. Saying, I love this team. It's got the offensive mons on this team are all really hard to prep for.
And then you have the full trick pony, like not just one, like every trick in the book pony with Scizor. They can do literally anything you want it to.
Priority on this team is actually pretty good. You got like Mark Punch Breloom, you got Bullet Punch on Scizor, you've got Ice Shard on Mamoswine, some really scary there. You got Webs.
I think there's a priority move that Fridgepug gets.
Thing with this team, it could do with some more rock setters. Your main two rock setters are Mamoswine, Rhyperior. Rhyperior is weak in a couple matchups depending on the opposition's water or grass, and Memo doesn't want to run rocks all the time. The other thing with this team is the speed tiers are a little bit funny. You've got Dragapult at 142, and then I think it drops to Kadabra at 105.
You're not bringing
If I'm
Kadabra.
wrong. And then it drops to
Moltres at 90.
So speed tiers, very problem with this team, but you do have a little bit of webs there to compensate for that. But the big thing with this team is the prepping for those. I'll call them the big six: Pulp, Breloom, Moltres, Volk, Mamo, and Scizor. Be a pain for anybody.
Yeah.
Breloom top one on the Volcarn.
Very offensive team.
Yeah. So,
One thing I do want to point out, and I don't really know how we might fix this, but I do see Volcanion kind of getting overwhelmed as kind of the defensive backbone a lot, because it's taking fire for Scizor, it's taking ice for Dragapult and Breloom, it's taking it's immune to water, so I don't have to worry too much about that, but considering that it doesn't get recovery, I'm worried that it will get kind of worn down pretty easily, and also get pigeonholed.
It just doesn't knock off.
Yeah,
One
that as well.
thing I would like to note is the only flying resist on the entire team is Rhyperior, who cannot come every week.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Especially since a lot of those flying types land into the speed tier gap and are unaffected by webs. So this team would really, really like something that could dispatch the flyings other than like Mamoswine, or at least take a hit outside of Rhyperior.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, it's a really impressive offensive team with a lot of fun pieces to mess around with.
I think this is the team I least want to play, because you can't sit on the back foot versus this team. Otherwise, they're going to overwhelm you with setup, they're going to overwhelm you of status, Spore, just the hard-hitting power of Mamoswine Volk. Like, you have to play Jooj on the front foot. So yeah, and in my opinion, it just I reckon this team will be the best to watch. This team will be amazing.
So,
fuck Jooj, you've got the coolest team in my opinion.
yes. I love this team. I think we all do.
Team is kings. Like, unironically, it's kings. As much as it pains me to admit that.
So, yeah. That's Jooj. Good luck. Have fun for your first season of Seafoam Isles.
Don't joke.
Now, we move on to our next player. Comkin.
Also has the big scary.
Big
The
man.
first thing I saw about this team is that it said it just gets rid of every dragon ever.
Oh, what's a dragon? I never heard of one. They're all dead.
No dragons
That's why
here.
they're not real. It's because Comkin's team exists.
Killed
Oh
all of
my
them.
god, I just saw the. What the hell, bro? Oh my god.
This
Let's start out with the obvious here. There's a Kyurem, there's a Mawile, and there's
A
a
Weavile.
Galarian Slowking. There's a Weavile.
This team is
You got some scary bulk between Rotom, King, Registeel,
And then
Swampert.
Thwacky is low-key gonna become a demon.
yeah,
and then
Wacky
Hitmonchan
is
is also
insane.
there for unburdened shenanigans.
yeah. Thwacky notably really helps out the Fat Core for Registeel and Slowking Galar, making Slowking Galar even harder to kill. It's
Yeah,
gonna make
but-
Registeel even more annoying to kill. The only problem is the fact that if it comes,
Thwacky
Swampert
Swampert.
can't
Yeah.
really come because it'll just explode and also
Even with Rindo Berry, it will likely die.
yeah. But I mean, Swampert and Thwacky don't really have to come together, so I mean, that's
Wacky
good. for
definitely isn't
Swampert.
coming every single week, so
Yeah. This is a really, really scary team. Thank
Yeah.
God we didn't allow Dragon Dance on.
Oh, well,
Turn
you
black.
still
It's
allowed
still
Scale
has-
Shot, which is also a terrible idea.
Well, I mean, there's more counterplay to that than Dragon Dance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's because you don't want to boost the attack of something that has like, what is it, 185?
Nah, it can't be that high.
I know it's at least
170.
165.
Yeah, it's
Oh
quite high.
my god.
It's 170. Yeah.
So yeah, this team nuclear completely just kills everything, and if you let it, yeah, there's no breathing space here.
One thing I will say is it does have issues with like Corviknight and Celestial. I know that's really niche, but it has issues.
Main thing that I saw was the fact that Kyurem and Weavile overlap typings, and those are the two fastest Pokemon in the team aside from Dracloak, who probably will hardly ever come because Dracloak sucks.
Ice in general is kind of a hard type to have more than one of, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially
And
when
the other thing with that is that the hazard removal is Rotom Heat, Vespiquen, and Hitmonlee. So I assume you'd probably be using Rotom Heat as your hazard removal more often than not. So you probably want to get like another one of those just to support the ice types better.
Yeah. I think the smartest
You go first, Colin.
move would probably be maybe even dropping Weavile so your fastest Pokemon don't overlap ice. Because that's not exactly the best type to overlap, especially when your two fastest Pokemon are those ice types, and those it's 125-95, and if you don't bring one or the other, it's like 125-80 or 95-80. And then having 95 as your fastest speed tier is not great.
Mid.
So I think just maybe patching up that top speed tier, because like even if you bring Dracloak, it overlaps Kyurem Black.
It also just doesn't have a a Trick Room setter, so I can't even use that low speed too well.
Yeah. So I do think the team is genuinely
I
terrifying.
was actually gonna say a cool.
Like,
think
this
this
is the
team could use a
epitome
Wish
of bulky
passer.
offense.
Yeah, Wish would be.
This team had a decent Wish passer, and you could pivot into Kyurem, Mawile, even Registeel, keep them alive. This team would give a lot of people trouble.
Yeah, Registeel with Wish Pass sounds terrifying.
That doesn't sound fun. Oh my god, Rake, stop! You suggested
I
Needle
do.
King
It's just what
to
I'm
King,
doing.
and now you're suggesting this to Comkin. What are you doing?
You had Clefable.
That's
I'm
just-
sabotaging.
All right, guys. Rake is trying to end the league. Come on.
See, I only say this because I've run this exact same Kyurem Black Mawile core. I ran it with the Wish, and it's genuinely so good. If you can keep them
we're
healthy.
also kind of obligated to suggest things, so like, yeah.
Okay, one thing I would say is like take out, I don't know, Swampert, just kind of like rip whoever that was. Swampert just doesn't fit for me.
I mean, it does hit the types that he needs, so that's good.
Yeah, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it would work well with this team.
Yeah. It's still quite good.
Yeah, I was like Florges would be pretty decent with this team, even though I hate Florges because it's too passive.
Yeah, I swept with a Florges one time.
I also saw someone. It was my brother got swept by a Florges. One sec.
Alright, so this team is scary, I think, especially once the speed tier gets patched up, or if it gets Wish, this team just will wreck Shock completely. King, don't drop Hypno.
King drop Hypno for no.
No. This team would actually just like run Hypno every week, and for Registeel.
King, trade Hypno to Comkin, please.
Oh my god. This is a great team. I'm excited to see Comkin play. I'm excited to see some Jenny Kyurem Black.
Jenny Kyurem Black is like terrifies me.
Yeah. So good luck, Comkin. And we'll move on to next. Oh,
Oh, am I allowed to talk for this one?
well,
Well, think about it. I just want to come out and say the quadruped team is here. Team with the most quadrupeds. 4.
5.
Doing Spirals.
Yes, it's wireless. This
Does
team,
Miltank count as a quadruped?
no,
wings.
This what?
Miltank.
He stands on 2 legs.
Miltank is the best tier 5.
It's tier 4.
No, well then that's it's pretty good. Not as good as Articuno though.
So, things to note. Lando T, Spectrier. That's sad. We're all gonna have a hard time with that one, no matter who you are. That's a pretty good chord to really start with. After that, there's Milotic, Moltres, Cobalion, Miltank, Mega Audino as the defensive core. Wish for Lando T is here on Mega Audino, which is awful for everyone. There's Spin from Cryogonal, which is all honestly is a pretty good tier 4.
Cryogonal is great, like top tier.
Garbodor for just those extra hazards is also pretty interesting. Also,
And that's just a grounded poison.
Yeah. So
A big thing to think with Garbodor too is with T-Spikes you can run Hex on Spectrier, which is
oh yeah.
First thing I will say is that if Cobalion goes down, your dark type killers just like you have no others.
I mean, there's Mega Audino.
Is that the best?
That'd be Gleam. It will kill you if you let it. It will take
I
your
mean,
turn.
you can say that about anything. You can kill anything if you let it.
Well, yeah. If we're gonna go to the problems that I see, the only major issue I really see is there's a lot of stress on Cobalion to be like the rock and dark resist for this team. Because Wireless isn't really often gonna come, and then like, I guess you can count Lando T as a semi-rock resist because it's just that naturally bulky. Especially with the wish support from Audino, but Audino probably can't come every week.
I think other breaker for normals for Spectre would be nice too. Because it all sort of falls onto the shoulders of Cobalion.
Yeah, the thing that, like, if Spectre comes, you already know Cobalion's coming, so that's 2 things out of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think options on this team are pretty nice though.
Well,
Between the first couple of picks.
we never said it wasn't. We just were pointing out that mainly the only problem I see is the lack of a normal breaker and the fact that Cobalion is like slightly unreliable and is taking on a lot of pressure for the rest of the team.
Yeah, this team is my second favorite, hands down.
Yeah, this is
Your
still
second
really
favorite?
good.
King's my favorite.
Uh,
His team just screams.
I
favorite
will
team.
say, I do have a couple of ideas on how to circumvent that because I did notice it, but I'm keeping those a secret.
well, you should.
I'll have to.
What he's actually saying is superpower Lurantis is coming to break the normals every week.
You do see the ZNE Raichu, aka Z fighting Aurisphere now.
I actually want to point out how good of a deal 2B, I think it was, Raichu is.
Yeah.
It is. It's not the same Carmine Sweeper that Suicune is. It's close.
I'm a
His T spikes up. You can get a bulky sub up. Carmine. That's got Sculptor's Gem, which really helps it out.
Yeah.
Good.
Basically, the way
Good
this
luck.
draft went for me was, I've never used Lando before, despite it being like extremely notorious.
I
just
hate
for-
Lando.
Right? So I picked Lando first, and then I was like, oh, I want Raikou and Lando. But then I also noticed that Spectrier was there, and it was also in 1B, which I think, in my opinion, it should be in 1A. So I wanted Spectrier just because I've never used Spectrier before. And then the rest of the draft was basically trying to build around those 3 things, like Lando, Raikou, and Spectrier.
Don't worry. The time for tier changes will come after playoffs are over.
Okay, another thing that I'm like noticing is that Cobalion is also really pressured into taking ice hits.
Oh yeah. I mean,
'Cause-
there's Milotic, but Milotic can't do that.
Milotic is weak to freeze dry.
Well, the freeze ride distribution is not quite as bad as Ice Beam.
Yeah,
There are 2 Curums in this league.
Oh, that's true. Watch out, Floatzel. There are 2.
And Articuno, I think. Is there an Articuno?
No,
Articuno,
that's
you
gonna
mono
be
lose to
better
Articuno. You mono lose to Articuno. Don't even try against an Articuno.
He has a Cryogonal. Like, Cryogonal wins, and I'm pretty sure.
Articuno doesn't exist.
Oh, Cryogonal. Who's that? Alright, well, good luck, Floatzel.
Thanks.
Yes, that's my second favorite team. My third
Alright.
favorite team is Beaters.
Alright, well, we haven't got there yet. Slow down. Alright,
Hold on.
and our next team is Beaters. Okay, now you can talk about Beaters' team, Danny.
Okay, great team. 10 out of 10. I like it. Actually not 10 out of 10. It's more like I don't know, 8 out of 10. But it's fun. It seems fun. Here, let me just Alakazam, fun. Etran, fun. Zarude, fun. Silvally, multiple things, fun. Tyrantrum is a steal. Seismitoad, tier 4, yes please. Rotom fan is cool. We'll pick Alola as a chat pick. Tornadus-T is scary. Clefairy is scary. Lucario is fun. And Tentacool is fun.
Absolutely skipped over Mega Alakazam. What a clown, though.
I said Mega Alakazam is
you
fun.
led with Alakazam.
I said it was fun.
Okay.
Okay. If Beater, all I'm saying, when are you gonna bring Calm Mind Barrier?
Oh my god.
Big one.
We saw that last season. It's not even new.
Oh, well, I just remember it from someone in like a really competitive league. Brought it like 3 times in like an 11-week season, and
Paco brought it
6-0'd with 6-0'd with it once. It died to a crit the other week, and then got like a 3-0 with it.
Alright.
While we're here talking about Alakazam techs, Miracle Eye to hit Dark types, so pretty neat.
It already has D-Gleam.
So what I see is a lot of really funky defensive Pokemon. Tornti, Heatran Core, obviously petrifying, alongside the double flying with the Rotom fans, so that's fun. Zarude is an interesting pick. There's a lot of grass resist here, so I suppose, bug resists here, so that's pretty good for it. The speed tiers are, they're alright. 150, 121, 105. That's not bad. Hits like a truck. 3 of probably the strongest special attackers. Lucario and Tyrantrum, and Zarude on the physical side.
3B Tyrantrum is such a steal.
What?
3B? It's 3B, I think. It's such a steal.
Tyrantrum is a nuclear bomb, dude.
Once it gets a Dragon Dance up, it just comes out to accuracy, really.
Yeah. Or Scarf, but...
Scarf mid.
This
So-
team also has 3 very good pivots in Silvally, Tornadus, and
Rotom.
yeah. So that's really good for
And Zarude.
and Zarude, yeah.
And one other, I think. I think Zam gets Baton Pass.
Alright. And then,
And Clefairy is also there.
Yeah.
thing that we noted to approve on, it's kind of the same case as Cobalion, except maybe a little bit more problematic in the case because Lucario is less defensive. But Lucario takes on a lot of pressure from rock fighting, or not fighting, dark rock. So that's a little bit of pressure onto it, but other than that, it's a really good team. I know that Zarude resists dark, but Zarude is not incredibly reliable. Silvally might be pressured to do something else. And other than those, the rock resists are not really there. The rock resists just Silvally, Seismitoad, and Lucario, and then the darks kind of split between Zarude, Silvally, and Lucario. And then Clefairy, it can come. It's actually a decent pick. It's just...
Clefairy is not bad.
I know. It tanks...
This team doesn't like knockoff.
Yeah.
The darks.
Well...
because you're outside of Lucario. Lucario can come in with
Lucario is
knockoff.
justified.
But outside of that, Seismitoad wants to keep its lefties or its Rindo or its Rocky Helmet. Torn wants to keep its boots or its Life Orb. Heatran wants to keep its lefties. Zarude probably wants to keep its boots. Clef wants its Violet. Not many Mons on this team want to take the knockoff. Silvally can come in on some knockoffs, and as its drive, whatever it's called, can't be knocked off. But yeah, I can see Dark being a bit of a pain for this team.
Yeah.
I kind of think if your team has a way to get past Torn, it can wear down the rest of it fairly easily. Just because the only other kind of... I don't see that this team has a particularly high amount of defense, and the recovery options outside of Tornadus are Wish Clefairy and then like Jungle Healing Zarude. Yeah. Well, I guess Znam gets Recover, but like...
So, yeah, it's pretty cohesive between like the cores. The only problem is the cores are pretty prone to having minimal recovery, like you just said. But I mean, other than that, this team is very limited in terms of major flaws, which makes this probably one of the scariest teams in the league, in my opinion. But anyways, we can... Oh, oops, I did the wrong music. Oh well. Anyways, we can move on to Morgana.
I'll see.
Yeah, Morgana.
I'll leave this off the gate, Colin, because I know this is one of your favorites.
Yeah, well, mainly because there's a Haxorus on this team. But the first 3 picks are fucking crazy, dude. Aegis Slash, Haxorus, Mega Diancie. Oh yeah, have fun surviving that. And then there's a freaking Mew on the edge. So...
I really... Okay. I really like Beware as a Aegis Slash partner.
Yeah, Beware's kind of nuts. This team's offense is just exudes terrifying pressure.
We were talking about now. Based Ghana.
There's just so much here. There's Fat, there's Weezing, there's Wish Porygon, and then like Diancie, Magic Bounce, Aegis Slash. There's so much stuff here. They all
or like T-Wave support, for example.
Yeah, this team is just... There's a lot to unpack, but I don't want to go too long with it, you know?
Yeah.
Big thing with this team is Defog and Spin. There's a bit of a trouble here. Your main 2 Defoggers are Charizard and Mew. Obviously, you do have Magic Bounce on Diancie. Charizard, if it loses its boots, can be an unreliable defogger, and it may pitch in Mew into more of a support role most weeks.
Out of the time, yeah.
It also doesn't have a lot of hazards. Like the only... So you have Mew and Diancie for Stealth Rock, and then I guess Weezing for Toxic Spikes, but I think that... you're gonna want the rock support for things like Aegis Slash or Diancie, or Haxorus actually too.
Notably was like Raik and I were banking on Haxorus being a Z move user because it's so good with that. We just kind of thought it would happen, but I mean the other Z picks aren't necessarily like they're not bad. Z Celebrate for Jolteon, and then Z Attack Charizard for Bloom Doom without Sun. And then there's just so much pressure. Aegis Slash hits mixed, Haxorus hits physically, Diancie hits mixed, Beware hits physically.
One thing I will say is I think Haxorus is better than Charizard.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that big a difference, especially if Charizard has that capability to hit waters. Haxorus is only really missing out on just like punching through one Mon that maybe would have given it trouble. But it already got CC for the steals that bothered it before. It already had Earthquake even. But the Haxorus is still terrifying you, and without Z Attack, I think Charizard benefits from it maybe a little more, at least in Morgana's opinion. I see where he's coming from, at least. But anyone have anything else to say about this team?
No.
I think... Actually, no, you guys go.
I don't think they have anything to say.
I was gonna say ground versus this team, fairly decent. Most ground types are packing rock coverage for the Zard. But other than that, you've got the Levitate Wheezing, got the Lilligant for those ground type hits. I think with mons like Edge Slash and Diancie really not appreciating Earthquakes. Hitting everything else pretty strong neutrally. Strong ground types could be a bit of a problem for this team.
Yeah.
Since the main ways of breaking them probably gonna be special attacks from your two main mons. There is Beartic.
I mean, he can honestly, he can run pseudo rain with Vaporeon Rain Dance.
That's true.
Well, actually, Lipard Rain Dance is actually an option into Beartic.
I
And Lipard Sunny Day into Lilligant and Charizard is also one.
Z Sunny Dance on Charizard? Question mark?
I'll see any bit.
Oh yeah. Well, then it can run Solar Beam and Bloom Doom.
Yeah.
But I mean, this team's scary. It's really, really strong. At least offensively. Maybe the defensive cores could use a little bit of work, but it
could be a bit more desirable, but it's not terrible.
The offense is incredible here.
I remembered my other point. Electric can be a little bit annoying for this team. Jolteon has Volt Absorb. It's your one immunity on the team. And outside of that, Haxorus is probably going to be your go-to ground. Go-to Electric switch in, which is okay, but you also don't want to get paralyzed as a Haxorus if you're hoping to DD or SD up later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ground type would be nice on this team.
Yeah. This team is. I love this team. I think this might be one of my favorite teams, if not just for the 3 first picks. But
I'm not an Aegis believer, but hopefully he will prove me wrong.
I am an Aegis believer. Screw you guys. Anyways, good luck, Morgana. I think you'll do great. And now we'll move on to the next one. Me.
A losers team.
Oh, thank you, Danny.
Do you want me to lead this discussion?
I like that you got Shiftry and just decided to make your team a Sun team after that.
Oh.
You're welcome for that pick. We gave you the coolest Mega, which is Zard Y, in my opinion. It's the most fun Mega in draft. It has so many options.
No.
It hits so hard.
No. Best draft
Mega
is Mawile.
Man, it's Zard Y. Zard Y is the most fun.
Mawile is so much more fun.
This isn't a debate on Mega Mawile versus Mega Charizard. So, I like that Shiftry caused Mega Charizard Y versus the other way around.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Shiftry.
When did you pick Chandelure?
Like round 3.
Because honestly, I like Chandelure on the Sun team.
The combo of... Because I've run the combo of Chomp, Zard Y before.
Will say.
It's really
Colin,
scary. Because Chomp...
Your first 6 Pokemon are my favorite Pokemon in like this draft. So I will say you have that going for you.
Yeah.
The last 6 Pokemon I don't like as much.
That's tough. But I got Love Distance, so I'm a winner.
Love Distance, all good. I was gonna say,
mid-disc.
It's okay.
Chomp struggles with grasses. Zard literally blows them up. Zard also blows up the flying steels. Chomp doesn't like. Boosts the power of Chandelure. Boosts the power of Shiftry. That defensive core together is really good. You've got one of the best rock switch-ins in Bronzong for your Zard. You got Crobat, really good defog removal. The defoggers are a bit hit and miss. You got Shiftry, Vikavolt, Braviary. Marina is really strong. It's got that strong Fairy Stab for if the Sun weakens its water-type moves. You got webs for Chomp. Yeah, I just really like the offensive potential of this team. You've got a good dark switch in for your Chandelure in Scrafty. Yeah, I like the offensive potential of this team.
You better end the season with like 18 kills.
What? Who?
Shift Tree.
Oh, I'm not that good, unfortunately. Is that it?
That's probably all I had to say. Weaknesses wise, Ice is a bit of a hard one for this team. You've got Primarina, you've got Bronzong, and goes Chandelure. But otherwise, between Chomp, Neutral, and the Zard, you want to try and keep Zard heavy. Braviary, Shiftry, Crobat. I don't really appreciate Ice very much.
Electric is a pretty big one.
Got the Vigavolt. Is decent check if you can give it Yachi.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
but the other resist.
You forgot the Love Disc Ice Resist? Excuse me. Oh my god.
No, I need
I
Love
forgot
Disc.
the best one on the team.
also-
My bad.
I think this team is slightly lacking on the recovery front. You've got Charizard Roost,
For Love Dusk. Love Dusk is insane.
Crobat. You got Charizard Roost and Crobat Roost, but outside of that, nothing else has recovery, and you don't have a Cleric or a Wish user. So that could kind of
Say,
hamper the longevity.
It's
a
Love
little.
Keen
Dusk. Love Disc
on-
is gonna scare everybody to not kill Colin because he has Love Disc.
Okay, you have to run.
Uh,
Okay. You have to run a tract like at least once.
Okay. Week 10 when I'm 1 and 8. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you mean when you're 10 and 0? Is that I think
9
I
and 0. That would be 9 and 0, not 10 and 0. Then the season would be over, and I'd be using a tracked Love Disc in playoffs.
Well, I think that's the right play.
That's like the most
long play.
BM move of all time.
I think a tracked Love Disc is low-key a demon and will pick you up multiple kills.
Well, you guys are just talking about the stuff that I need, and Komala fits literally everything, and I can get Komala instead of Love Disc, but now I'm obligated to keep Love Disc because I picked it.
Yeah, that was a big
I think
mistake.
sickly
Mid-disc
I
will
think you
haunt
can
you
do
forever.
whatever you want.
No, I don't think that
It's
you
your
have to.
draft.
You have to use Love Disc.
I don't know. We'll see how I do in the first 3 weeks. That will determine whether Love Disc gets to stay or not.
You get put in prison if you don't use Love Disc.
No more heart scales.
Should we move on? Because I feel like
Yeah.
we've talked about this team quite a bit.
Yeah, but about as much as the rest of the teams. All right,
Well, I
and then
can't
we
talk about
have.
this next one.
Oh my god, it's lagging. And then we have this team. I don't know whose team this is.
Probably
Yeah, so bad.
also. It's not as good as
How
Love
did this
Disc,
slide get here?
therefore
Right,
they're
what are you
invalid.
doing? Oh my god. This
Yo,
is.
who's this
this-
right fella?
what is this?
Does anybody know
this
who
is
this
a-
right fella is?
Okay, I
Alright,
guess
guys,
we'll
I just
cover this draft.
snuck another slide in.
So, this random person's draft.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know who could ever.
it's
Who would ever draft Excadrill, Guitar?
yeah. It's just a team. We guys want to move on?
Yeah, we don't need to talk anymore.
Yeah, and he has sand. That's all we needed to say. We just needed to say that
He has
because he's
sand
right.
and he has Tangrowth to support.
True. He got the best Excadrill counter in the game, other than like Slowbro, who didn't get drafted.
Wait,
Slowbro
really?
didn't get drafted?
That's
No.
crazy.
Slowbro
God.
G and Slow King G got drafted. Slowbro did
Slow-
not.
Slowbro's a terrible Pokemon.
Kings above bros, guys.
And he keep talking, okay? Actually, don't.
Okay. Anyways, I also aside from the sand, I also like the options that support Lopunny here. Like you have the Metagross for flying types. You've got the Psychic Resist. You also have the Fairy Resist for Metagross.
Also, like, keep in mind that technically no defensive type is safe because Scrappy normal fighting hits everything.
Yeah.
So there's no technical resist to this team because Lopunny hits everything neutrally. And then the rest of the team is pretty interesting. There's Metagross, obviously, who just has that random potential for weakness policy sweeps. Excadrill can sweep. Druddigan for really just rocks and offensive teams that hit the somewhat otherwise frail team other than like Slowking and T-Tar and Metagross, but other than that, and well, there's a lot of bulk on this team. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like 3 of the 4 free picks are pretty bulky, and then Slowking, T-Tar, Metagross. And then the offensive picks are fairly good as well. Like,
yeah, Excadrill can murder stuff. Excadrill murder stuff. T-Tar can pull up the surprise Dragonette set. Best set.
Yeah. And then like freaking Torrentee for another ground resist. Complement Tang. Just in case Tang is kind of struggling. Also gives the offensive flying option.
Tangela is has the best offensive capabilities on this team.
Tangela? Tangela is on Quest Draft, you clown.
Wait, what?
It's Tangrowth.
Oh, Tangrowth. Oh, Tangrowth is mid.
God.
Quest is now my favorite draft.
Folded.
As you can tell, I'm paying very close attention to these drafts.
Yeah, definitely can tell. Pelusand Rapid Spin. Oh my.
Okay, I drafted Pelusand in the league because I thought it got Rapid Spin. And I was like, oh my god, well this is gonna be really nice. I have now Rapid Spin support, and then I haven't used it in that league, and it's week 5.
I'm just imagining like what Pelusand would look like using Rapid Spin.
Oh god.
Every grain of sand moving at the same time.
Its little spade on its head spins. That's the spinner.
So yeah, this team is pretty cohesive, I think. A lot of stuff just kills the checks. One thing that is a little potentially slightly problematic is a fighting type with U-turn, because anything that checks fighting types that gets hit by U-turn is pretty sad.
Like Lopunny Mega. Oh wait.
Yeah. Torn is not bulky enough to really sustain because it doesn't have recovery. There's no wish on this team for Torn either.
Also, a lot of fighting types get edge.
I can't believe that I would ever say that like a good draft is genuinely somewhat weak to bug, but this, if any draft were to be it, it would be this. Because the resist,
your team loses to the best type in the game. Come on,
the
man.
bug types are like the resists to bug on this team are Granbull
Excadrill,
or
Blaziken. Excadrill, Blaziken. Does Dragon resist bug?
No.
Metagross does.
Just wanted to say that I felt so bad for nerfing
Metagross
all the
is
bugs in
part
FNF
psychic.
Showdown. I thought I should keep some bugs.
Your team is low-key mono lose to Felstinger Beedrill.
Oh, no.
Actually, wait, no, Lopunny.
Wait, what? A mono lose to Lopunny.
I have a
Lopunny is here.
No, mono lose to Beedrill. Beedrill Mega.
I overrode it.
Kind of funky versus this team, not gonna lie. Phero's picking up right here.
Wait, you overrode him? Oh, you do overrode him. It has knockoff.
Hey,
Get ratioed.
Danny, Phero's in the call. You're giving him strategies.
I'm helping out everybody.
I can do strategy too.
Anyways, we've been talking about this draft for like 6 minutes, and we have
For at least 3 minutes, bro.
Okay, whatever. Okay, so since I mixed up Beaters and Actius' music, I'm gonna play Beaters' music for this draft.
Interesting.
Listen,
Alrighty.
I folded. I admit it. So, here's Actius's draft.
Hey, it's range,
Can I
right?
leave the
Isn't it
discussion on
range?
this one?
This
Is
is
it
the
range?
last letter. And then
Range would never draft range.
Yeah,
Danny.
I'm not that kind of guy. I'm a Sandman. I'm no Rain Man.
Hey.
I helped
take that
Actius
screenshot
draft
right
this
now.
team, and I really love this team. It's got a Kingdra on it. My favorite.
I wonder why
Politoed.
you love this team.
But Zapdos. Zapdos is so good. I love Zapdos.
That just makes me cry in a hole.
So, basically, this team has a ton of breakout sweepers, aka Gyarados and Dragonite. Basically, instant
They're
you
not
loses if
LD9.
they get up 2
It's on
DDs.
Gyarados.
Okay, but like, low key, I'm expecting Actius to bring special Dragonite a lot.
Why?
So, Hurricanes, I think it gets Surf, Draco, Meteor.
But it has
Like-
134 base attack.
Well,
Doesn't-
that's overrated, so
No.
you gotta think outside the box.
Like, there's a Kingdra on this team. It doesn't need to do that.
Kingdra is a physical attacker. Just use Dragon
Oh,
Dance.
God.
Okay. Whatever you say.
Dragon
So
Dance,
basically-
Kingdra is the only Kingdra set. I
Alright,
thought we were going over
hold on,
this.
guys. 1 second. I gotta mute Danny.
Aw, damn.
He is blasphemous.
My heat is too good.
No.
Colin doesn't want to hear it.
He's been muted. Oh my goodness. Danny, you gotta sit in timeout. So Kingdra can run physical, like Danny said, but it mostly runs special, and vice versa for Dragonite.
I almost
Gligar's really nice.
I
for
almost
those
think
ground
there's
type.
too many rain sweepers on this team.
There's
Like-
one. Well, it's not like they're generally not rain sweepers, but they're more so like sweepers that benefit from the rain, which is probably a better way
think
to
you
approach.
probably don't need both Poliwrath and also Armaldo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're both sea users, and Poliwrath can probably just belly drum and win a couple games if it manages the belly drum. And yeah, it has Z Rain Dance, so I could get the +1 and then belly drum.
This team also
Armaldo-
has like a lot of momentum.
Yeah. Raichu, Zap, Jirachi, Gligar.
It's got Teleport Wigglytuff.
What the heck?
Unitop.
Oh my gosh, Google Slides glitch moment. There's 3 Wish Passers, which is pretty unique. There's a lot of removal, or status removal and removal in general.
I do think this team is pretty defensively centered around Jirachi. So I think if Jirachi go, because you're obviously not going to bring Wigglytuff all the time.
Yeah.
And even then, like Wigglytuff is a little shaky on its own. But I think if Jirachi goes, it'll be kind of hard to.
Use like your only grass resist.
I think you gotta remember Politoed itself
importantly,
is fairly solid.
Jirachi is the only fairy resist, and there's 4 fairy weak on this team.
Yeah, and it's also like it doesn't mono lose to Edgequake.
I know.
because of Gligar.
Politoed's pretty bulky. It's gonna be sticky around a lot of games. You've got something
It's
like
especially-
Gligar. If you can get Gligar in on the right mons, it can just wall. And can check a lot of things if you watch for the
Also-
ice coverage.
The thing about Gligar though is that it doesn't like the rain.
But you're not bringing Gligar in on a water type.
I guess you're right.
I wanted point out as well that, like, Politoed is really well complemented by the 3 Wish Passes on the team. So, like, its bulk is kind of exempt, like, really bolstered by that.
Gee.
Let's call it 2 Wish Passers, because Raichu isn't really one.
Wait, what's
Oh,
the
right.
what's the
Pass Raichu's
third?
good. I'm telling you
What's
guys.
the
Jirachi-
third?
I've run it before.
Jirachi, Raichu, and what?
Wigglytuff.
Oh, Wigglytuff is...
Yeah.
Wigglytuff if real. So,
Um,
valid.
yeah, what this team has is a lot of sweepers and some intense momentum with some Wish Passers. I think it's really good, really strong. Maybe just get a better fairy resist for a lower tier like Armaldo or Poliwrath. Other than that, it's a really good team, I think.
This team is also kind of weak to freeze dry.
Well, I mean, that's a technicality.
Every team is weak to freeze dry.
Yeah.
Except for if you run Articuno, because Articuno is the best special wall in the game.
No. Only if you run Cryogonal.
Oh,
I think
no.
Cryogonal just does not exist.
Okay, moving on. Good luck, Icteus.
Alright, we on to the last one.
And then, again, the guy who stole our theme.
And then
Unit, I
drafted
love
this
you.
team.
I love you because you drafted the best core in the game. I love you because of that. Washtom and Scizor. Amazing.
Wash Tom. Yeah. Wash Tom and Scizor.
Love you because of that.
Alright. Okay, since there's so much positive about this team, do you want to just start with a negative and then go with all
Yes.
like the 10 minutes of positive?
Negative. Marrow and Terrakion, like, meh.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree with that.
actually, you need to realize what I saw, or what we saw. Donphan and Terrakion are the only rock resists on the team. And neither of them get recovery. The only Wish Passer is what, Shaman or Togetic? Togetic, I think.
Togetic, which is a
Yeah.
solid. Togetic's solid, but it's not like the best.
So, really, it's just like a lot of the other teams were just kind of weak to rock, and that's about the major extent of the weakness of this team, which is saying a lot considering
Yeah,
it has.
this team is like, I think, in my opinion, the most balanced team.
Yeah, this team is
Like-
nuts.
Like you have great options with Dragalge Arcanine, which I used last season, and Seafoam. You have the threat of being tactical. You have the threat of Scizor. Volt turn. Shaman's pretty scary with her Spadef drops. Masharni is a vocal. However you say that. Masharna?
Musharna.
Creatures are great.
Masharna. Bruxish is a actual threat. Raboot is amazing. I really love this team.
This team is.
This
busted.
might be my favorite. King
It's not-
can move down to 8.
It's so good. Aerodactyl with DV, terrifying. Scizor with SD, terrifying. And then to cover their backs,
Donphan with Sword Dance if it gets that.
I don't know.
And it does.
But
We'll
4
go cry
defoggers,
now.
1 spinner, 3 Brockers. I mean, it checks all those boxes like those teams that we really appreciated earlier, checking those boxes that it needs to. It's got a Wish Passer, at least for those mons that kind of struggle to absorb a lot, like Donphan and Tarak. For Scizor,
Rotom Wash is going to be taking a lot, because there's 5 Water Week and also 5 Ice Week.
yeah.
Yeah, so Rotom's gonna be Spadef invested a good amount of times.
Yeah, but there's a Wish Passer, and there's a Rotom. Rotom is
There's also only one weakness, so that also helps.
We'll say as well, like, we talk about water weakness, he's still got a Shaman and
yeah. Water
an
weakness,
Ice Weak.
he's
He
got
does have an
Shaman.
Arcanine.
Ice
This is
weakness, he's got Arcanine. There's also Dragalge for water, and I think Bruxish is also water.
And
Yeah,
Scissor comes in on ice types anyway. So it's like,
I
I'm not too worried
don't
about that.
actually know what Bruxish does.
Bruxish.
But
Bruxish is a
fairly
menace. That's
strong
what it
breaker.
does.
Full breaker.
Okay, but Bruxish is like low key a good Pokemon.
Yeah, it is. Psychic Fangs hit really hard with Strong Jaw.
yeah. So I just think this team is so cohesive. It might be weak to like typings as a whole,
Dude.
but it covers its own back so well. It's
Yeah,
kind
like,
of ironic. Like Layor kind of has a pretty good matchup versus this team. Like we called it the most unorthodox, and that's kind of showing. I feel like because like it shows up this game. Like if this were to hypothetically happen, of course, but like that's the
How many
really only
weeks-
team that I could see maybe having a not
How many
super
weeks is
difficult
Seafoam again?
what
How many weeks?
10, and then playoffs.
So there's a chance that he doesn't fight
Yeah,
Layor, which is
yeah, and then it's just like even that it's not a super easy prep match. Layor's team is still good. It's just like this team also really really good. All the teams are pretty good, I would say.
Another thing that we're forgetting is Unit is actually insane at competitive Pokemon.
Well, this is not factoring players' skill in.
I know, I'm just saying, Unit is insane.
Well, so is everyone else. Shh.
Unit is like top 3.
Okay, whatever.
Well, so is everyone else.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
All
yeah,
16
right,
players are
right.
top 3.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Ben.
I'm bottom
This is why I'm in
18.
the side league.
Not because I had a 15-page paper.
Yeah, we'll ignore that. So, yeah, this team is really good, and that's the last team on the recap. So, tonight, we'll release the matchups for Week 1, and the league will begin.
Yes, I will release the matchups.
No. Actually, Morgana's going to, so... good luck,
Wait, Morgana does
coaches.
them?
Good luck, people in the call, except for Denny.
Everyone
Good
should
luck
have a
burning.
pleasant
Good
day.
luck. Good luck burning wood 65.
Oh, you fell right into my trap. That's my ult.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Also,
see you
also
week 1.
right. It's almost